Welcome to Crimson Guitars and welcome to a tutorial of sorts, I have a guitar that I'm just about to finish building, and this instrument is the reason why I commissioned our chemists. I love being able to say that. Our finishes and stains, etc., are created off-site for us by, well, one of the biggest finish companies in the world, and they design things for us specifically to our requirements. And what it boils down to is I have, at my command to a certain extent, a team of chemists, which just sounds awesome. Anyway, this instrument, from the very beginning, we were planning on having it look monochrome, black and white. Now the problem is, maple tends not to be white, truly. Sycamore is, so you can see this strip down the center is whiter than the maple that is this neck. And even this spalted beech, or these wings, technically wings, yes, they are spalted beech, and that's also got some yellow in it. So we got to work and created a white stain it's part of the Crimson Guitars Stunning Stains collection. And people have asked me to show what happens with that, and I'm going to apply it. It is translucent, semi-transparent. It has a pigment suspended inside of it, and it is gentle, shall we say. Subtle is the word I want. Waterborne stain, and because it has a pigment in it, you can see it separates slightly, so there's it gets thicker as you go down. This is the standard bottle. I think they're about £7 for 250 ml, so we keep it as reasonable as possible. Now let's have a look at the instrument. Really, the main thing is to sand it down properly and carefully. And I have spent many hours fine sanding this. And I've actually gone up to 600 grit, which is slightly... Oh, there's my phone. Poor phone. Slightly excessive, but 600 grit is going to get us a good finish. And it also helps to damp the wood down just with a damp rag. And you're basically moistening the grain, not making it wet, but you moisten it, and that raises the grain, and then rub it down again with 600 grit paper. And that gives you an excellent finish. You take the stain and seriously read the instructions. It is waterborne, and what is this? The instructions say safe and vibrant, but we wouldn't recommend you drink it, just in case, you know. Okay, so lots of shaking. It works best on light coloured woods, easily mixable for custom colours, etc. Seriously, I don't think you should drink this. It's probably safe, but we're covering our butts. I think my sister wrote that. Okay, so that is now well mixed, and we're good to go. A roll of tissue paper. Now this is industrial stuff. It has no pigment in it. That blue roll is a similar, or good quality blue roll at least, that you see in kitchens, is a similar density or quality, but that blue pigment does like coming out. So I've turned this into a nice, neatly folded pad. You can use a lint-free cloth as well. And essentially, we just start applying a little bit. And I'm trying to do it where you're focusing. Now, in order to make this work, what I suspect I'm going to have to do is actually, or at least in order to let you see this, I'm going to put some on here and then focus, because it is a subtle effect. So that's as it was raw, and this section is just slightly whiter. Let me turn on the light. Try not to blind you. Raw and whiter. Now this is still raising the grain somewhat because it is waterborne. So I am going to apply this all over, rub it down again with 6 or even 800 grit paper, and then apply another coat of stain, and we should end up with a guitar that looks much less yellowy gold and more monochrome. I have wet and then rubbed down this body now 3 or 4 times actually to really flatten it all down, and it is now time for the staining again. So once more we have a nice tool, and I am going to thickly apply the stain, which is still, this is actually so difficult to see. I'm actually applying it like a wash, really. I'm going to apply this really thickly. There we go. Put it on really wet, and then I'm going to come back and rub it down. And here we're starting to get the effect that I was after. Okay, I'm going to leave that to dry, and then rub it back and apply more. I have put on a couple of coats, and I've used Merca Ultra Fine to rub down this. Merca Ultra Fine. I can't remember what they call this now, and I don't have the box. Anyway, it's the Merca stuff, and it's great. It's the equivalent to about 1500 grit wet and dry. Now the thing is, this stain is raising the grain because it's a water-based stain, but also I'm using this is Spalted Beech, which has some very soft areas. However, the subtlety of this stain is really, really coming through. And this is going to be the final coat. And once we're done, well, I'm really excited now. This is turning into a practically monochrome guitar, which is, well, what the whole idea is. Here we are, just before Well, I have some cleaning to do. I didn't bother masking off. Well, I actually left this at a state that I'm going to do a little bit of fine sanding on the ebony and the edges, rounding the edges over on that. But the instrument is now very, very monochrome. This veneer in here is too yellow, so I'm going in with a 5.0 paintbrush, and I'm just going to use some of our stain and hopefully be precise enough. Oh, he says, to make it work. And just look a little bit less yellow. A good sharp scalpel blade is excellent at scraping a fretboard clean. Or binding for that matter. Well, basically, I'm going to set it away from lacquer and we'll be back to show you what it looks like finished.